Hi comic book fans, and welcome to another suddenlycomics.com video. And today we're just going to take a look at Marvel horror anthology titles. So when it comes to Bronze Age horror, Marvel launched a whole load of titles at the end of 1969, beginning of 1970, as did DC. Where Marvel was successful was on monster titles and on traditional horror creatures such as Frankenstein's monster, Werewolf by Night, and Vampire Tales of Dracula. Where they were less successful was on the horror anthology titles. In this field, DC dominated and did dominate throughout the 1970s with titles such as House of Secrets, House of Mystery, Weird Mystery Tales, Witching Hour, Weird War Tales. Really, DC was the master of the horror anthology, but Marvel did give it a go a few times. So let's take a look at these. These are the first two Marvel horror anthology titles. Both of them started in September-October 1969. Let's try and understand why this format didn't work for Marvel particularly well. So let's take a look at Tower of Shadows issue 1. Well, the first thing I've got to say is the title is not fantastic, is it? If you compare it to another title that started around this time, Witching Hour, I think Witching Hour is a better title than Tower of Shadows. How do you make a Tower of Shadows, or is it meant to be a building that's full of shadows? I don't know. Anyway, the second reason I don't think it works is I don't think they got their presenter right. This guy is called Digger, who's obviously meant to be a grave digger. Now, if you compare that to the Witching Hour, where we've got the three witches, then this guy has no heritage, he has no history. The three witches have huge amounts of heritage and history throughout mythology. Anyway, let's have a look inside and assess this first issue. Now, what I will say here is that they gave this a real go. I mean, they are bringing out the big hitters here. We've got story written by Stan Lee and edited by Stan, written and illustrated by Jim Steranko, and lettering by Sam Rosen. This is the A-Team. Look at this. This is Jim Steranko's version of Digger. And I have to say, I love Steranko's artwork, and this little horror story here, in terms of quality of artwork in a horror anthology story, is got to be amongst some of the best. Really do like this Steranko artwork on this first story in Tower of Shadows. So they're making a real effort here. Absolutely lovely stuff here from Steranko. We should have seen more horror stuff from Steranko. I'd have liked to see more of that. Very impressive. So nothing wrong there with the quality of the artwork or story on the first one. And then the second one, we have got there's the Digger again. This time we have got Johnny Craig as writer and artist, and again we've got Artie Simek doing the lettering. This is pretty good as well. I like the artwork on this. It's a nice little story, quite atmospheric. Yeah, nothing wrong with this. This is as good as some of the stuff we get in the DC anthologies. I have to say, here we go. Third story here, A Time to Die. We've got John Buscema coming in. So this is a truly tender told, touchingly told story by Stanley and John Buscema. So John Buscema wheeled out to do the artwork here. Again, pretty. They're putting out the quality stuff here. They're making an effort at this. And this internally holds up very well against the DC Anthology titles. So nothing wrong with the quality of what they're putting in here. And there's an advert for issue 2. Right, okay. So, however, I have to tell you guys, this title only lasted a year. It ran to issue 9, Tower of Shadows issue 9. And they had some great artists, some great writers. It just did not work, and it stopped after a year. I think a couple of errors. I think the title's poor, and I think this character presenting is poor. Plus, I don't think they had the heritage that DC did to do these horror anthology titles. They did have the heritage and the background to do the monster titles. Now they didn't just put out one anthology horror title; they brought out 2 virtually at the same time. Now the other was called here it is, Chamber of Darkness. Here is Chamber of Darkness issue 1. Again, let's have a look at this and see how this compares. So pretty good cover, but who the hell is this? Right, okay, guys. You win my Bronze Age horror award if you know who this is before I tell you. This character's name is Headstone P. Gravely. Yep, and there he is. Dear, oh dear, oh dear. I mean, this guy's just totally invented for this series. He's got no heritage, you know, unlike Cain, Abel, Eve, the Three Witches, Destiny. He's a sort of tongue-in-cheek sort of presenter. Doesn't work for me. But here we've got Stanley and John Buscema again. We've got the A-Team coming in. The artwork by John Buscema is great, as you would expect. It's nice seeing John Buscema internal artwork. Great stuff. Really nice horror artwork from Buscema. Very good. Second story. Very good as well. This is Dennis J. O'Neill, Tom Sutton doing this as decorator. I presume he's doing the lettering. Mr. Craven buys his Scream House. Again, can't complain about the artwork or the story here. So it's not to do with the actual artwork and stories, because I think they're pretty good. In fact, I think the content of these... there you go. This is the third one. Always Leave 'em Laughing. We got Gary Friedrich's story and Don Heck art. You know, they're definitely bringing out the big guns here to try and make a success of the horror anthology titles. But they don't seem to work. Again, this one folds like the other one after only about a year. So I recommend picking these up. I think the quality of the art and the stories in these are good. I think where they've tripped up is the choice of titles and the choice of presenters. I mean, guys, did Digger or what's his name? Headstone P. Gravely ever see the light of day again after issue 9 of each of these 2 comics? I don't think they did. Correct me if I'm wrong. So, DC do some more horror anthology titles. They continue to use Chamber of Chills, and something of Shadows. So, I will talk about the later Marvel anthology titles in another video. I don't think the ones that come in the mid-70s are as higher quality as these. Definitely pick up Chamber of Darkness issues 1 to 9 and Tower of Shadows 1 to 9 from 1970. That is it for now. That is your lot. see ya again soon.